my topic today is very, very critical to successful businesses. And it's about leadership, right? Being a business founder does not, confer leadership on you. The fact that you started a business does not make you a leader. You can't start a business and you only occupy a title. And I've realized that a lot of business founders are not leaders. Let me say that again. A lot of business founders are not leaders. It takes just being creative to have an idea that can turn to a business to be a leader. It takes more than just registering company with the Corporate Affairs Commission or company has in the UK, right? Or with your state in Texas to become a business founder. It takes a lot more than that to become a leader. It takes a lot, right? It takes more than being given the title of governor of a state to be a leader in that state. It takes more than the title of being a president to really be a leader. It takes more than the title of a minister to be a leader. Ladies and gentlemen, leadership is deep, is big, and goes a long way. There's so many aspects to it, so many intricacies to being a great leader. And I want to say this categorically, that leadership and true leadership, particularly in the business context, is a tough thing to be. Before I could become this version of leader that you're seeing today, it took me a lot. And I hear this very well. My biggest challenge with leadership started with the fact that my first opportunity to lead was nonprofit. I want everybody to hear this. The way you lead in a nonprofit is not the way you lead in a for-profit business. In other words, leadership in a church, leadership in a mosque, leadership in an NGO is not the same thing with leadership for a business that is meant to make a profit. Two different things. And if you handle them the same way, you're going to fail. You're going to fail big time. And I struggle so many times with this. For example, people do not know that when you become a business owner or founder of a business, you must master the art of hiring and firing. Firing is a necessity. You have to be able to fire people who are not helping your business to grow. It's not a wicked thing. We're so emotional in this part of the world. So you see, you know be God now. You know be God. If you fire me today, you know be God. You will be my God today if you come under me tomorrow. Well, that's true. But you see, the reason why you feel come under me, where your God today, if you come under you tomorrow, has nothing to do with him not holding you accountable. Has everything to do with your God also not taking responsibility. And you, maybe the firing he fired you made your brain to wake up and you took your life seriously. And then you became somebody serious. That could happen. We've seen situations where, what's it called? The owner of WhatsApp, I don't know if you remember the story of WhatsApp, right? He kept applying, he applied to work with Twitter, applied to work with Facebook. All of them said it doesn't qualify, only to start WhatsApp and then, get away with almost $20 billion. So, but that doesn't mean that the reason why, and if you can see, because Mark Zuckerberg is still not playing, Abi, did he not become the Oga of Mark Zuckerberg because they didn't employ him? Rather, his company became so big that Mark Zuckerberg bought it into it and they became partner. And that's how it works at the top. But you must understand that as a founder of a for-profit business, hiring and firing must be a skill you have. Everybody type it. I must learn to hire and fire. Come on, type it now. Type it. Some of you are scared to type. If you will found a business, if you'll be a great, successful founder, of a business, you must master the art of hiring and firing. And it's not wickedness. You know, you can put it in the best way you can. You can call them for a good meeting. You can be nice about the hiring and the firing. But you must learn to understand there must be hiring and there must be firing. Okay? As a great entrepreneur, nothing about being wicked. It's just business. Again, are we learning here? If we're learning type, I'm learning. So let's look at leadership, particularly from the angle of entrepreneurship, right? How do you lead when you're a founder of a business, particularly a for-profit business? But this works for other sectors as well. Leadership in times of crisis is also what we also want to emphasize. How do you lead in a time of crisis? Africa is in a time of crisis. The world is in a time of crisis. For the first time in America, everything is not certain, right? Even who will be the next president in America is not certain. Whether there will be World War III, the world is not certain. Everything is complex. Complex, guys. So, few insight, right? Let's share a few insight about that. Number one, integrity. Everybody type integrity. In a time of crisis, people want to be sure that their leader is not compromised. People want to be sure that their leader's yes is yes and their leader's no is no. An employee did something to me yesterday and he has no idea. By the way, Joshua, invite him to see me this coming week. Mr. What's his name? Morgan. An employee did something very shocking to me yesterday, and he has no clue how shocking what he did was to me. I'm seeing too many people with SA link here. Please, when you join, change your name and put your proper name. Okay? If you maybe the SA team gives some people link, right? Edit the name and put your name. I don't want to say SA link name on the panel list. IT, can you look into this now? And he brought me close to tears. I visited one of our estates and I met our oldest security man. He's been our head of in the security team 9 years ago. Everybody say 9 years ago. He's been our staff and he's also one of our oldest staff 9 years ago. And when I visited there, he said, "Oh God, I've missed you." I said, "I've missed you too." I mean, me and him have a special relationship that even some of his guys don't have. He has some audacity and access to me that even his own bosses don't have. And we got talking and he said, "Oh God, I just want to thank you. Despite the toughness of the Nigerian economy, you have done everything in your power not to fail in paying our salary." Right? He said, despite the toughness of the Nigerian economy, you did not fail to pay our salary. Do you guys know, out of hundreds of employees we have all over the world, he's the first to say that to me. First person. First person to say that to me. Hundreds of employees. First to say that. And I was almost in tears. Because, of course, most employees have no idea of what it takes to pay salary, right? The mindset is, Oga say, Oga no sell, just pay our bills, right? I just want to be paid. I have my own bills too. I have things I need to do with money. Just pay me, just pay me, just pay me. But you see, that is an aspect of integrity. I don't know if you agree with me. That in spite of the uncertainty of the economy, right, the leadership of an organization decide to do everything possible to make sure that the employees are paid. I don't know if you agree with me. Now, this does not mean that in the situation where you also cannot pay, you also either downsize or have a meeting with everybody and say, we cannot pay at this point. We need to let some of you go, right? Or what do you guys recommend? But from my point, I think some of you have to go. I've had to do that all this period. I've had to let people go. In fact, I remember an experience where my wife, somebody who was just like an acquaintance to my wife, we had just downsized some employees, I think about 40 of them some years ago, due to the economic situation. And we have not borrowed money from Nigerian banks in 16 years of doing business. We didn't take one loan. So our company runs based on, as we make money, that's how we spend the money. Are we together now? As we make money, that's how we spend the money. So for us, one of the things that was critical, to me, was the fact that we had to structure our business in a way that as we make money, we spend. If there's a drop in income, we need to downsize so we don't keep owing people. And my wife was just meeting someone casual. They were not even close. And the person said, what do you guys do to some of your staff? And she said, I don't understand. She said, you need to see how bad they spoke of you people. I said, well, we had to downsize because it was difficult to continue to maintain that level of payroll. And say, is that all you did? Say, yeah. Say, but the way they put it, you would think that maybe you guys were owing them for 1 year, or you guys did something terrible to them. Say, no, we just had to downsize. Right? So as a founder of a business, these are things you will face. Right? People will come out hard on you. They will come one day and call you horrible boss without even understanding what you did. Do you know I've had a season when my first son did not go to school because the money I had was either I pay salary or I pay my son's school fees? Do you know, guys? I've had to go through that as a business owner, as founder of a business in this country. Right? It's you that started your business that know the numbers. And that's why it's difficult. Africa is one of the difficult places to have integrity. But I can assure you can still have integrity in Africa. Come on. How many of you are excited to hear that? Right? Africa is one of those places that is difficult to have integrity. When you hear Dangote tell you that story, that, when we get to heaven, God will probably say, call all those entrepreneurs from Nigeria, call them. And then when the angels bring them, say, these ones, they cannot go to heaven. They can't suffer twice. They've already gone through hell in Nigeria doing business, right? Just let them free pass to heaven. It's as real, because to remain is difficult, it's tough. So you must have it. You want to, if you want people to work for you and be loyal, integrity must be, they must know that our guy is committed. I remember we're having a management meeting, and I had promised that whoever did a transaction to a volume, we're going to give them a car. And I saw how my management team said, Oga, we cannot give this car, right? Because, you know the financial position of the company, you know, because we calculate this thing based on what was the profit on that particular transaction. This transaction, this person was even your client, the person closed. It's not even as if there's a profit on it. And they were all shocked when I said, I'm still approving the car. I said, we promised. We have to keep to our word. We promised there was going to be a car for whoever meets that target. Let's give it. Right? Because if we don't keep to that word, and I've seen situations whereby even companies, you join organization and you see them fail to keep to their word, not because the founder is not keeping to his word. It's that people in the system, right, are robbing off their inability to have integrity on the overall company. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Because you, the founder, you are one person. Now you have 200 employees, you have 500 employees, they are more than you. Right? I remember somebody came to our office one day and it was to train us. And when it was his turn, he came in and he said that I see two cultures in this company. We were called Gilead Balm then, many years ago. So I see two cultures. He said, I see your chairman's, then your MD's culture. I was the MD of the company. I see your MD's culture and I see you staff's culture. He said there are two cultures. And, you know, he never told me how he came about that because prior to him coming, every other consultant I bring, all they will say is that, hey, like leader, like follower. Right? I don't like what I'm seeing in this company. We need to change this. We need to change, and your guy must be the one. So years later, I met him and I said, I mean, this was like 4 years later. I said, you said something and it kept in my brain. How did you know there were two cultures in my company? He said, I went to your office and I went to the staff office when you people put me in the boardroom. He said, then we just had like a 4-office space. One office was used as boardroom. One office was the main staff. One office was where I was then. The other office was studio. So he said he went to my staff office. They were still small then. And he saw some of them, their laptop was on the edge of their table. Some, the plates that they used to eat yesterday was on the floor. Some, the charger were scattered. He said he went to my office. Then, I mean, we didn't even were closing offices. And he saw everything arranged. My books were properly arranged. My table was properly arranged. Everything was arranged. These people have brought their own culture to override their other culture. So that's why the company looks disorganized, right? The people in the system have brought in their cultures to superimpose that of their leader. I don't know if you know that this can happen. If you know, type, I know. If you don't know, type, I don't know. Okay? So we're talking about integrity. You can found a company and you have integrity, and because you have a larger number of people working for you, and they superimpose their lack of integrity on your own integrity. And before you know it, of course, the majority carries the day. And the company's image outside is that of the fact that the company lacks integrity. Meanwhile, that wasn't your culture, you, the founder. Number 2, vision. I hope this is helpful. Come on, guys. If this is helpful, type helpful. Vision. To be a great leader, you must have vision. Please reach out to the next speaker so that he joins on time. To be a great leader, vision. You must be a leader. Where are we going? I've seen some of us start businesses. You can't paint the picture. Where are we going? Painting the picture is more important than anything in an organization. Reading the vision over time. We have a clear-cut vision to be the largest green and smart home developer in the world. And we're joking about it. And we have a target, a vision 2035, that by the year 2035, we want to control 25,000 green and smart home properties across the globe. And recently, we're increasing that to even 50,000 because of our international expansion. You must paint the picture. Everybody must have an idea. What exactly are we here for? What is the vision? What are we doing here? You must paint the picture, guys. Paint the picture. Paint it. Let everybody have a feel. Let them have a feel. A lot of time I employ PAs, right? And a lot of my PAs come from a more, of course, they are Gen Zs, and some of them are from, a more stable family compared, a more financially stable family than the one I came from. Some of us, we might be successful today, but the fact that we came from a very low background is still reflecting how we do things, right? And when I employ them, even though that some of them went to private school, the first thing is baptism of fire. How do I do it? If I was thinking, I have a new secretary, she's a female. I was saying to myself yesterday, I said, no, Joshua is the one following me to site. She needs to follow me to site and see some of the madness. Because I still visit site and still deal with Omonila issues up to today. Right? particularly when it comes to new property, sometimes after the team have said it's okay, we should buy the land, I will just go to the land. There was one now, I've been told everything's okay. We should go and, approve the payment for the land. Everything was okay. And when they went there, everything was okay. True. I went there yesterday. Before you know it, talks gathered all over, even threatening us, right? With my police escort, right? And of course, the Agbiru part of me came out too. So they later realized that. They later realized that, I can be like Paul. I can be many things. And he really shocked them. Because sometimes when you come clean, proper, you speak good English, people don't know that. Oh, let's just say they learned their lesson. Let me leave it at that. Okay? So, vision. But it's not just having vision, you must paint the vision. Everybody type paint the vision. Come on, everybody type paint the vision. Type paint the vision. Paint the vision. You better paint the vision to your people. They need to see it. This is where we are going. This is where we are going. Number 3, positive attitude. Okay? You must have a positive attitude. Come on, guys. In fact, I will call the remaining 3 things under positive attitude. Sense of humor, right? You must learn to, even if you are not funny. I'm not sure I'm funny, but I crack, jokes that the dryness of the joke is the fun. How many of you know those kind of joke? How many of you know jokes that what makes the joke funny is that the joke is not funny? Who knows what I'm talking about? Come on, talk to me. I need your attention here, guys. What makes the joke funny is the fact that it's not funny. Okay? Whether you call it dry joke or not. But you must be willing to be laughable, be laughed at, create moments of fun, right? Because it helps the positive attitude of the entire team. I always say this to people. One of the things I've always had to work on is my mood. When I started our company years ago, I didn't understand that my mood reflects on the company. And I want all founders to learn this. Your own mood reflects on the company. So you have to work on yourself, that even despite some bad news you've heard, despite some bad things you've heard, my wife always asks me, how do you do this? My husband, how do you do this? I think Temi too always asks me that question. How do you do this? Like, they can be with me for the entire day. And then end of the day, I'll just share with them some bad news that happened in the course of the day. And say, and we're all together, and you are laughing, and you created, and you have heard this. And challenge had occurred. I say, yes, it occurred. Say, hey, my husband. My wife will say, my husband, how do you cope? Right? Keeping a positive attitude despite bad feedback, bad challenges that has occurred, something that has occurred at work. How do you keep that? But that's what leadership is about, guys. A great leader must be conscious of the fact that you will transfer your attitude to your people. So you need to keep a positive mental attitude. I've said this over and over again, that Nigeria as a country just need positivity. You and I have no idea, guys, we have no idea that just the positiveness of a leader is instrumental to the growth of the company. Just being positive. Just looking at your people and say, guys, we can do this. Guys, we can make it. I believe in you. Just looking at some of your team, sometimes calling them and say, you can do this. I did not employ you if I didn't know you can make this thing work. Come on, step up the game, right? So have a positive attitude. It's part of what makes a good leader. Solid communication. Solid communication. We've talked already on sense of humor. Solid communication. A good leader must learn to communicate well. Right words, right counsel, put in the right words. Inspirational. You must learn to inspire people. Inspire people. Okay? Let your people feel inspired. That, you know what? In fact, the word I use here is that of, how many of you have watched the movie, is it Achilles or is it Thor? You know, which of the movie did the man convince all of them to go and die? Who can remember? Those of you watch movie. Or it's Troy. Thank you, Troy. Troy and 300 Spartan. You see them talk about death. I don't know if you have watched those movies, right? They talk about death as though immortality awaits. Go for it. That is a good communicator, right? When you're a leader that can communicate well, your people will know the challenges they face. They go and see. I'm making sense to talk. Let me say that again. When you're a good communicator, and communication is not just communicating just the immediate thing you need them to do, it's also communicating the long-term goal, the vision, the dream. Why are we doing this? Okay, what is at stake here? What's the long-term vision? Right? Those people who were having to go and take immortality in Troy, they were not taking it for the deaths. They were taking it for what they convinced them that, look, history will remember them for good. Come on, am I making sense at all? It was that the leader was able to communicate posterity. True of us. Come on, I need energy today, guys. I need energy. The leader was able to communicate posterity. The people saw posterity and they're like, come on, we are going for this. Posterity makes more sense than even being alive. How many of you who are founders can do that? How many of you who are CEOs watching me can do that? Inspire your people. Get them to that mood where they say, let's go for it. Let's go. Let's go. Right? Yes, there's a stake. Yes, things can go wrong. Yes, there's a risk here, but let's go. Do you know that this is part of what Africa political leadership lacks? How many of you know what I'm talking about? Let me say that again. Do you know this is part of what Africa political leadership lacks? The people who will solve Nigeria problem is never going to be the president. Mark my word today. And I don't care whether you have the best president or not. The people who change Nigeria is not the best governor, right? And I don't care how good your governor is. You see, political leadership is overrated. No country anywhere in the world has changed because of political leaders. What the political leaders did were to inspire the citizens to achieve the solution to the problem of the country. Let me say that again. You know, one of the best president Nigeria will have had, okay, was President M.K. Abiola, because his mandate carried so much hope. And the man had the word. He had the inspiration. He had a way to just connect with the people. Another person who will have done the same, if not just that after he became president, he went quiet, was Buhari. Change. How many of you remember the change? How many of you remember the change? Buhari was so branded that people went to the polls. People were willing to die at the polls because they were convinced that this change was finally here. Come on. Those of you who voted for change, come on, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. We're not going to crucify you here. Right? People were convinced that Buhari was going to be it. We're changing Jonathan. We have a new person. This man has integrity. He's never stolen money. He doesn't have money stashed in foreign countries. He doesn't have houses in foreign countries. He's simple. Change is finally here. People felt like that. Well, we know how it ended. What am I saying, guys? Political leadership anywhere in the world never really brings the real change, but it catalyzes it. It inspires it. It is the backbone upon which true change occur, because it's still the people that will create the change. And that's what they don't know, right? A lot of Nigerians still don't know that the change of Nigeria is in your hands. It's in your hands. No leader, no president, I don't care how good they are, can create that change. But you see, as soon as the political leadership begin to earn less, begin to live a moderate life, do you see now, are more accountable, are more inspiring, right? Begin to show, begin to communicate to the people. No longer carry this, where the organs, we can praise you. There is that sense of we are in together. There's that sense of vulnerability. I was in one of our estates together with my team till I think 9 p.m. in the night, and you could see the energy. Our chairman is here in the dead of the night with us. Come on. That is what leadership is about. Inspire the people. That's what they want to see. That you're with them. That we're together. Right? That is not just a thing of, how many of us are learning here? Come on, we're learning. This is for business now. Because many of us in business think that some of these political things are not relevant in business. They are. I've seen some of the most, some of the worst leaders, okay, in entrepreneurship. They just don't get it, right? They just don't get it. And the way they go about it, oh, I paid your salary, just do your job, and they just don't understand these little nuances, communication, inspiration, sense of humor, right? Casting the vision. All of those things I've just mentioned. And when you don't get those things clear, right, people will not go extra mile. And at the end of the day, you just wonder, I'm paying salary, my people are not motivated. A mentee of mine was still in my office, he's into real estate, said, Dr. Stephen, I have increased people's salary. If I want to increase his salary to 3 million naira, it is still me carrying this load. He said, it's still me carrying this load. Oga, what do you know that I don't know? Please help me. I don't tire. He said, I'm tired. And I remember saying to him, I said, money is the least tool to motivate employees. Let me say that again. Everybody should write this down. Money is the least tool to motivate employees. It's the least of all the tools. So leading through challenging times requires some of what I've said. Particularly during challenging times, come out to the people, talk to the people, show yourself, inspire them, communicate to them. Let them know that you are there. Let them know you feel their pain, right? Don't go wary of it, because at some point it looks as if, oh, I've been telling them, they are not hearing. Just keep at it, right? And show that you understand and you care. Core principles of crisis leadership, right? Transparency. When we're not in crisis, we couldn't pay salary, we're owing rent, we're in debt. Call everybody, have a meeting with every single person, open up. This is where we are. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. I remember a story I'm sharing for the first time publicly after COVID-19. Okay? Right? The company has been going through a lot of tough times as at the time of COVID-19, really tough times. And I remember having that conversation clearly with the team. So We're about ending COVID. And I said, look, if we're going to turn this company around, COVID is the advantage. COVID is the edge to turn this company around. So I remember having a meeting with everybody. We had to let go, to downsize, and say to people, when we come back, we will definitely be open to taking some of you back. And we'll reach out to some of them if they wanted to come back after things bounce back. Even those who were on ground, I remember saying to them, because we had to cut salaries as well. I remember saying to them, I said, look, I am taking from my personal savings. I had to show them. I will be doing a couple of things. We'll be doing CNN adverts. So we'll go bullish. We'll go as if we're the richest real estate company. I said, why? Most of the companies that are bigger than us during this COVID have shut down their offices, right? Many have told their staff till December. How many of you remember how companies told their staff till December? I said, now, it means that all the billions they used to spend in advert, they are not spending it anymore. We have never even done LTV. You know LTV, Lagos Television. We've never done advert as at the time of COVID. You've never done advert in our existence. Yet, guys, the first advert this company did as a real estate company was CNN advert. Do you believe that? Right? Immediately after the lockdown, we signed a celebrity. I literally emptied my personal account. And that year, we grew more than 500%. And that was the one decision that turned the company around. But guess what? I remember even telling the staff, I said, we'll go bullish, right? It will look as if we have all the money in the world. We don't have it. So you kuku know, I've opened up to you, right? I'm taking this money from my personal purse, so, right? From my coaching program, from my seminars. And during COVID, how many of you, I made more money on coaching than selling real estate, that lockdown period. How many of you understand why? Does anybody understand why? People were at home. They were thinking, what next? Everybody was scared, right? So for the first time, people were opened up to what other opportunity exists. So they were willing to pay more for coaching. They were watching. In fact, till tomorrow, the highest number of those who follow me today said it was during COVID lockdown they started following me. Right? So my real estate company during the lockdown globally at the beginning was not making money. But guess what? My coaching was making money. And I was pumping money from my coaching to promote real estate aggressively. As soon as lockdown was over, we were selling like no man's business. Because you know what? During the lockdown, we were the only one they were seeing. All the other real estate companies were not running ads. Are we learning here? So, and you see why when I teach about the fact that when they zig, you zag, always go the opposite direction of the masses. Let me say that again. Always go the opposite direction of the masses. When they zig, you zag. When people want to go right, you go left. When during COVID, everybody was hoarding, were saving the money. The war was about to end. Okay? Everybody was hoarding. Everybody was keeping. Me, I was doing giveaway. We did grants show. We did CNN adverts. You know, we signed our celebrity. We were all over. Always go the opposite direction. In fact, I learned this from Jim Rohn. When you are broke, should be the time you should go and negotiate things you can't afford. When you are rich, should be the time you should be conservative. And I'm like that. I'm like that. And that's why it's difficult to know when I have money or I don't have money. When I have money, I'm more conservative. Okay? When I don't have money, I'm more lavish. Always go the opposite direction, guys. Always. If you go the way everybody is going in time of crisis, you will get what everybody else is getting in the time of crisis. Let me say it again. If you go the way everybody is going in the time of crisis, you will get what everybody else is getting in the time of crisis, which is no solution. Things are difficult. We're struggling. So clarity and communicate, which is be transparent. Tell everybody what's in it. You can't be hiding from your people. Tell them, this is the situation of things. This is what I'm battling with. This is what I'm having to do. This is how I'm having to do. Consistent messaging. Don't stop. Don't say, but I told them last week. No, no, no. Keep at it. Guys, we're aware of the challenges we're facing. We're on top of it. Empathy and support. Understanding. Show empathy. Right? Show empathy. Show support. Right? Show empathy. Show support. Show empathy. Show support. This is one of the things our political leaders lack. They just don't know the word called empathy. They don't know it. They lack it. And it seems once people become rich in Nigeria, they just don't know what empathy is anymore. Right? They just don't know what. And I've seen poor people just get so full of themselves and just forget where they are coming from. And I think this is why we all need to look inwards. All this just blaming leaders. We need to ask ourselves, why do good people, when they get leadership? Because is it only Tinubu, for example, that is a leader here? How many ministers have come to empathize with Nigerians? How many governors have come to empathize with Nigerians? How many local government chairmen have come to empathize with Nigerians? Right? We just lack the empathy required. So, in time of crisis, show empathy. Decisiveness and agility, very important. Be decisive, be agile, be firm, be strong. Resilience and optimism, we shall overcome. It will still end in praise. It will get better. I can assure you this company will be great. Mark my word. We are going places these are the ways you need to talk as a business founder, guys. Leading through economic downturn, financial prudence. This time, you need to be very prudent with your money. Cut down. Like I said, if you need to downsize, downsize. Downsize is okay. Planning scenario, plan. And some of your planning has to go towards marketing. This is the time you have to be everywhere. In the time of economic downtime, you have to be seen. I've said this over and over again. People don't buy the best product. They buy the best known product. And everybody type this now. Quickly, everybody do that. People do not buy the best products. They buy the best known product. Let me say it again. People do not buy the best product. They buy the best known product. So, if you are not known, you can't sell. It's one of the major things I've seen over and over again with a lot of entrepreneurs. We spend all money on the product. How much is your marketing budget? We need to do marketing. And then it's next to zero. I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? You needed to prioritize your marketing budget. You need to put a lot into your marketing. So in the time of economic crisis, you have to be seen. They don't buy the best product, they buy the best known product. Innovation and adaptability. You need to be innovative. New opportunities. Look for new markets, new segments, right? Digital transformation. Oh boy, thank God for digital transformation during COVID. We were the first that started virtual allocation, virtual inspection in the real estate sector in Nigeria. And when we started, guess what? Clients used to tell us, well, we have seen it on Zoom, but we need to come to Nigeria first. You cannot tell me to buy your land without coming to Nigeria. I must come to Nigeria before I pay. That used to be the story our clients used to tell us. But guess what? Hear this. When COVID happened, that's why just be ahead of innovation. Just be ahead of technology. It may not work today, but soon it will work. Just round that corner, guys, true story. we just saw a fantastic experience where people started saying, well, COVID has locked us up. Remember, Nigeria came out of COVID faster in terms of the lockdown before US, UK, and Canada and all of that. And most of our clients are in diaspora. So because they couldn't come back home due to COVID-19, many of them were now more open to say, okay, let's do the Zoom inspection. Let's do the Zoom allocation. Send my document via DHL to me. And guess what? We were the only ones who were already into that even before COVID happened. So we cleaned up. Before most companies were now adjusting to that method, we had already become one of the biggest. Are we learning, guys? Come on, are we learning? That's why today, sometimes people wonder, where was GTEx until 3 years ago? Or where was GTEx until 4 years ago? I just started hearing that name. Some people, how many of you here only started hearing about us 3 years ago or 4 years ago? That's why. Okay? How many of you? Meanwhile, you hear me say, we've been in business for 16 years. Okay? But let me do a poll now. How many of you started hearing us 3, 4 years ago? Just type me. If you've heard of us before then, just say before then. Let me just take a poll. You will see that majority from this poll just started hearing about us. It was after COVID that, we really were able to start, like they say, rubbing shoulders with the big boys. Are we learning here? Okay? And even those who had known us before COVID just saw us as one of those companies, just one. None of them believed we're ever going to be a real big firm like we are now, at least at the global level. So market awareness, right? Trend analysis, customer insight, right? Proactive strategy, partnerships, all these are very, very critical to your growth in time of crisis. Global perspective, cultural sensitivity. This is what I'm beginning to teach my team now, because we are now a global business, right? We Nigerians can create some jokes that are sensitive internationally. We had our leadership retreat in Ghana. I had to tell our people, I said, no. I didn't like the way some of you, there's a way Ghanaians speak, right? Let's take that picture, right? Something like that. They had this accent to their English. And then we had a photographer, during it was to take our picture, and everybody just started mimicking him and just making fun. I said, you know what? This is culturally sensitive, right? It's okay if you just make a joke out of it once, but you guys now continue. How many of you know Nigerians who can be like that? And we just can be too nagging and then repeat until the thing become annoying. Even if initially it was a joke and I take it as a joke, but you people keep saying it and say it until I now get to a point, I'm just angry, I'm pissed off. So be culturally, as you begin to expand your business internationally, culturally sensitive. Certain words can be used. Global coordination, very important. Social impact, sustainability, right? Corporate social responsibility. Some of you run a company for how many years now? We've never seen you done anything in the community just to add value. So let's look at a few case study. Johnson & Johnson, right? During the Tylenol crisis in the 90s, right? Johnson & Johnson's swiftly transparent response, including a nationwide recall, restoring public trust, and set back benchmark during the crisis. Airbnb, during COVID-19, Airbnb quickly adapt by introducing new cleaning protocol, okay, flexibility booking, options, and promoting local stay. And their agile response helped to sustain their business. Microsoft transformation under Satya Nadella leadership in a prime example of navigating industry disruption, emphasizing on growth mindset and innovation. Nadella steered the company towards what? Cloud computing and what? And AI. I was shocked realizing how much, Microsoft had put into OpenAI. Okay, but because at some point Microsoft business was just selling computers. But the world has moved past that.